Similar to book editions slash formats, e.g. hardcover, paperback, ebook, pocket book, etc., there are at least as many variants of this esoteric personality type called the romantic individualists. 4-wing 5, 4-wing 3, social, self-press, sexual, tri-type concerned, core fixation, second position, third position, Enneagram 4s who are extroverted, who are more lighter, who are more heavier, who are more introverted, etc., etc. And yeah, there's also the wings, so 5-wing 4 and 3-wing 4. Lots of confusions there, lots of masquerade, one tries to act like the other, etc. As we know, the private enterprising that people label as art has grown 1,000-fold since the dawn of the American service economy and digital nomadism. Today we have more artists than ever who are their own publishers. With the individuation of publishing, the chances increase for the lines to become blurred between art and advertisement, between realistic art and fake news, or documentarism. Artists can be artistic vloggers, men singing about love, men depicting women, or be it naked women depicting themselves naked, etc. America has also invented the words activism, grassroots, civil disobedience, as well as identity politics. The latter belongs to the self-awareness/wokeness movement, where emphasis is on the sovereignty of the individual, the assertion of their idiosyncrasies or particularities of their personality structure or sexuality structure, etc., a similarity to Enneagram 4's martyrdom over their special case. For people of all intersectionalities, this ideology seeks to provide at least the right, if not the chance, to having their own personal houses, personal fire weapons, personal transportation, customary gender identity, and laissez-faire to practices pertaining also to artistic expression. This is not unlike what socialism had originally propagated. And elderly here agree that communism was a highly authoritarian system. Interestingly though, now in the wake of the US President's ordered drone assassination of Iran General Qasem Soleimani and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, it begs the question that for all their individualism and artful revolutionariness, why do Americans unanimously agree on, by being passive about and therefore complicit with, this thing called their military-industrial complex? One thing's for sure, Rizzo and Hudson's description of this artistic personality type, the core fix Enneagram 4, emphasize masochism and self-defeatism over using self-expression to take up space permanently or over competing for space by encroaching upon it. There is a slight chance for escalation in case they get Russia on their side. Considering the current climate of social segregation, i.e. lifestyle enclaves, opinion policing and censorship over the internet, it can be said without ridicule that the reason why Soleimani and his associate had to be assassinated, in spite of them being disenfranchised relative to white Anglo-Saxon standards, was because they were not politically correct. In contrast, however, the American soldiers can have a foothold in just about every part of the globe indefinitely without a visa permit. So I see this growing number of creative Americans who emphasize being vulnerable, sensitive, HSP, PTSD, depression, anxiety, ADHD, BPD, post-Kurt Cobain, post-emo, claiming to having become woke and an art activist of some sort. And I can't help but wonder that if we have become so proficient at producing the stuff with the right message, create value, create meaning, create motivational videos, then why do we exonerate ourselves from acting on the right thing? For isn't the purpose of art, if anything, to make love, not acid trips? For what this Enneagram thing is worth, isn't the type force supposed to grow from boundless idealism and selling their fantasies towards informing people objectively of the limits of our world? The opposite of how extroverts flirt people into working for them. And aiming for realistic change. From being a special snowflake, a perpetual outlier, towards reintegration into mainstream society, at least when it's sane and healthy, and joining reasonable causes such as scientific environmentalism, government watchdog groups, enrolling into the police and reporting police brutality, social reform towards civility, petitioning for taxing the rich as much as they were taxed in the 50s, and in the America, I mean, no offshore taxing, no recirculating through own foundations. All of these, instead of inventing the umpteenth number of special cases of romantic identities, divertive of more immediate and pressing issues. Arguably, of course, the dilemma over the artist is nothing new. For a Latin writer in the 3rd century AD, retroactively named as Pseudo-Longinus in his work Perihupsos, has already criticized the mass commodification of art and the maximization of its profit by selling bread and circus to the masses. The original concept of art being the one which sought the sublime, Platonic transcendentalism, as opposed to the Aristotelian concept of art, the theater of cathartic sensationalism. I guess it all boils down to the problem of consent. The system of the Enneagram by nationality is Bolivian. Its inventor, Oscar Ichazo, did apparently consent to his Mexican Arican school's extension into American charters. According to one source at least, he did not consent his teachings to be appropriated and Americanized by the American Jesuits and some other progressive thinkers to resell his teaching under their own name and school. Ichazo had lost the court case over copyright. Thus we have different formats and versions out of everything. The sheer number and diversity of products, individual lenses, customary post-truths, as well as the ever-shifting of identities is not unlike the Babelian cacophony of schizophrenia's voices in one's head. In theory, out of psychiatric diseases, schizophrenia is what the romantic individualist Enneagram type is associated with in its pathology. If I want to make order in my life, why would I want to add to the disorder in the world? Why would I want to isolate myself further by inventing new languages, by putting myself into newer and newer categories? To top it all, when I see some of these American YouTube content creators who demonstrate having DID, that is a dissociative identity disorder, the stronger I feel living in a room of mirrors, perpetually revolving, where history turns out to be nothing more than a constant present moment. To echo David Bowie, I'm afraid of Americans, I'm afraid of the world, I'm afraid of them body snatchers, they'll assimilate the whole world.